So can I just bring you back to a point you've made a couple of times? You've mentioned the body a couple of times. Sorry, I'll start that again. So can I just bring you back to a point you've made a couple of times, and that is of the body. So a lot of people might think that psychotherapy is about talking, about understanding our psychological processes. Where does the body fit into this in your work?
Again, I think it's a really valid question, and it's something I feel very passionate about. I think psychotherapy has to some degree been hijacked by the medical model, and the medical model views the body not as an integrated system, but as sort of separate elements, separate parts, if you like. And in the world of psychotherapy, we have got caught up with different modalities being sort of in silos almost. So CBT, cognitive behaviour therapy, being used for particular ailments, a psychoanalytic approach being used for particular problems, and so forth. And this has been perpetuated by NICE guidelines, by the NHS and so forth. And on a fundamental level, I think this is really quite unhelpful, because what research has actually shown is that on a felt and real level, it is the relationship that makes the difference in psychotherapy, rather than necessarily the particular modality that a psychotherapist is applying. So to go back to your question of where the body fits in this, if we look at the masters, if you like, I mean, this all began with Freud. I think we would largely agree. Freud and one of the proponents of the British school of analysis, Winnicott, knew that integration was about integrating the body and integrating the psyche, and that can only be done through the capacity of growing a mind. So the function of a mind is to make sense of what we feel in our bodies, because that's where our emotions originate, and what's going on in our thought processes, and to be able to make sense of both of those and bring them together. So if you like, use them both for feedback but not react to them. For people who haven't had a sufficiently good parent, the mind can often be a punitive and separate object to themselves. Now this might seem like quite a strange concept, but because they've had to be very self-reliant, the capacity to attune to what their real needs are, what they're feeling, what their desires are, what things might mean in their thought processes, is alien to them. They can navigate the external world and sometimes do that extremely well. But when it comes to navigating their internal relational world or relationships with others, it falls down without having a thinking mind. So thinking mind comes about through the process of psychotherapy, because the role of a psychotherapist is really to see if our client will allow us to come alongside them and think things through for them, help them make sense of their feeling states, help them make sense of different states of mind, and slowly start to integrate. And of course, psychotherapy tends to be only once or twice a week. So when clients leave the room, the real work starts. It's, can they keep the experience alive? Can they allow us to matter enough so that they can grow their own mind from the use of our mind?
Grow their own mind, meaning what?
Grow their own mind, meaning be able to hold on to a thinking mind that when they feel something, they can be kind to themselves, they can be compassionate to themselves, they can be curious about what their feeling is, and they can tell themselves, it's just a feeling, I can survive this, I don't need to react to it. And much the same with thinking.
So in a way, training their mind to be on their side.
That's a great way of putting it, training their mind to be an ally, yes. And a mind that is an ally is also not only aware of us, but is also aware of the other person, whoever the other person might be with whom we are having a relationship. I think a really simple and helpful way of thinking about this, which works for me, is to think about the safety briefing on an airline. So having sat through a few of these, like many people, there's a particular set of circumstances that unfolds if the cabin loses pressure. And the first is that the masks fall down, the oxygen masks fall down. And we're told by the cabin crew, if you are travelling with a dependent, then one of you needs to put the mask on first. And often people get this the wrong way around. So parents will say, well, I need to put my child's mask on first because I care most about my child. Actually, you need to put your own mask on first, and then you help your child. And the reason for this is that if you struggle to get your child's mask on, you're also going to be deprived of oxygen, and then there are two people in distress. Whereas if you look after yourself first and make sure you're okay, then you have the resources to attend to the other. That principle applies to all relationships. We need to first check in with ourselves. Where am I at? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? And also then hold the other person in mind to the best of our capacity. And our capacity is dependent on, obviously, what we're able to offer.
Thank you very much, Mark.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
This is